All right, so get this. We are diving into a movie pitch deck for Emerald Wonderland Chronicles, and whoa boy. It's a doozy. Like, picture it, Wizard of Oz meets Alice in Wonderland, but with, get this, a vaporwave spin, okay, and a little steampunk sprinkled on top for good measure. It's like someone took, every single thing we love about these stories and just went nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like right off the bat,
Yeah.
Scarecrow Queen,
Yeah.
Cheshire Lion. I'm telling you, I am so in. We haven't even gotten to the Tin Hatter yet.
Right. And speaking of, well, not the Tin Hatter just yet, but speaking of this whole kind of aesthetic that you're talking about with the vaporwave, that's what I find so fascinating about this, because it's giving you that familiarity.
Right.
Like you're looking at, an old VHS tape with like the colors all messed up, but instead of being like, oh, this is dated, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is actually kind of cool looking.
That's like beautiful and kind of trippy.
Right. And dreamy.
Dreamy. There you go. Dreamy.
Yeah.
It's like they're tapping into that nostalgia that, oh, remember the good old days. But with this like undercurrent.
Yes.
Where it's like, ooh, but something's not quite right.
Exactly. And that is Wonderland to a T, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, it's familiar, but there's just something a little bit off.
Yeah.
Always a little unsettling.
A little creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay, so we've got Dorothy Gale, right? But she's not in Kansas anymore. She's 16 now. This time she's in Wonderland. But hold on. Alice is here too. And she's 15. This is like teenage drama central, and we've got talking animals and mad tea parties happening all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? It makes you think, well, how does their age play into this?
All right.
Because you've got Dorothy, you know her, brave. She's facing down this new world. But at that age where it's all about, like, who am I?
Oh, yeah.
Where do I belong?
Right.
Not just where, physically are you in the world, but, like, internally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a very interesting layer to it.
Absolutely. And Alice, I mean, 15, that's your imagination at that age is just, woo!
Oh, it's going crazy.
It's on fire. So what happens when you take that kind of energy, right? Where everything is possible, and you drop her into Wonderland where anything is possible?
Yeah.
I mean, does she lean into it, or does she try to impose order?
Right. Right. And it just struck me, I mean, talking about Alice and her imagination and how it kind of plays into this idea of a distorted reality, which is something that Vaporwave often plays on, right? So it's like this blurring between what's real and what's in your head.
Okay, that is good. I like where this is going. All right, so speaking of things that'll do your head in, we got to talk about the Cheshire Lion.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we've got a lion with that mischievous Cheshire cat grin.
Yes.
I mean, come on. I'm already thinking riddles and roars. But like with that Cheshire cat wit.
It's a kind of a stroke of genius, isn't it, when you think about it? Because you have the lion, which is, strength, power, wisdom.
Yeah.
But then it's got this mischievous, enigmatic kind of vibe to it.
Yes.
Which speaks to, I think, the very nature of this Wonderland. It's whimsy and danger all rolled up into one.
Yeah, it's like they took these two very established characters and they're like, boom, how about this? And it's new, but it's also instantly familiar. I don't know how they did it. It's amazing.
That's what's so clever about this pitch, I think. It's playing with those expectations that we have.
Right.
Because we know these stories. At least we think we do.
Yeah.
So they're turning it on its head and making us kind of re-examine, like, what is this?
Okay, so speaking of unexpected combinations, we have got to, and I mean have to, talk about the Tin Hatter.
All right, lay it on me.
Okay. So we've got gears, we've got gadgets, we've got who knows what else. Bob had this hat. I mean, I love it. I love it.
See, and this is a great example, I think, of how this movie, it could really dive into some deeper stuff,
Okay.
Because you've got the Tin Man, right?
Right.
Who always wanted a heart.
Yeah.
Like a longing for emotion.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Mad Hatter, who's like all about nonsense, no logic.
Right.
So to take those two impulses and like jam them together in this one character, that's
the drama.
Oh, it's Conflict City.
Yes. And not to mention just the possibilities for like
I know.
the random objects popping out of the hat,
Yeah.
Like throwing a wrench in their plans, adding to the chaos. And speaking of the visuals, oh my gosh, the storyboard examples. That's where this whole vaporwave thing, it just
sings, doesn't it?
It sings. It's like those pinks and those blues. They just scream dreamy, surreal.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, come on. Hello. Wonderland.
It's perfect, right? But it's not just, I mean, the aesthetic is gorgeous, don't get me wrong.
It is, yeah.
But remember how we were talking about Vaporwave and how it reflects how technology kind of like seeps into things?
Yes.
It's most obvious in that storyboard scene with the Scarecrow Queen.
Oh, yeah.
Because she is menacing. Okay, don't get me wrong.
She's terrifying.
But there's something about those eyes, like they glow, and it's almost like a little too techy, you know? Makes you wonder where she got her powers from.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I would not want to run into her in a dark alley.
Yeah.
Nope. But it does make you think, if this version of Wonderland, right?
Yeah.
It's got that vaporwave, and like you said, maybe even a little tech in it. Does that mean even the scary stories are different?
Ooh, good question.
Right.
It really makes you think about how this movie, it could flip the script on what we think we know about, fairy tales.
Yes.
Like, we're ready for a good versus evil showdown, which, who knows, maybe we'll get.
Maybe.
But this vaporwave thing, it's like this extra layer of, well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Can you even have good and evil when it's not even clear what's real?
Right. And speaking of unclear, the Scarecrow Queen herself, I mean...
Oh, yeah, she's a bit of a mystery.
A bit. Just a tad. They mentioned she was overthrown, which, okay, classic power struggle.
Sure.
But how does that work in this Oz meets Wonderland world?
Right. Right.
And what about the wizard?
Oh, yeah.
He's got this whole steampunk thing going on.
Yeah, where does that fit in?
It's a little extra, even for Wonderland.
It's true.
Right.
And that's where things get really interesting, I think, because he's from this place called, get this, Steamburg.
Okay, come on.
You hear that?
It's like Steampunk Central.
Exactly. Like, it's got to be all gears and gadgets and,
For sure.
So why would he leave that to go to Wonderland?
Right. What's he after?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Seriously, it's like he's this walking contradiction, Like, hello, I am technology and magic all rolled into one.
Right.
Which, come to think of it, isn't that kind of the whole vaporwave thing anyway?
Exactly. It's like technology where it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
And you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. And you know what?
Yeah.
That whole being in the wrong place kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's basically Dorothy and Alice's whole deal, right?
For 100%.
They just want to find where they fit in.
Totally. Like, give me something solid to hold on to.
Yes.
Because everything is spinning.
Right. Their own little wonderlands bumped into each other.
Right.
And speaking of bumping into things, one of the last storyboard scenes, it's this glowing doorknob.
Okay.
And it just appears like poof. And I mean, Wonderland, right? So I get it. But still, kind of creepy. Total portal to parts unknown vibes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But doors in general, it's like they always mean something, right? Like some big change.
Surely.
Some choice you got to make that leads to like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And this one just popping up like that, all glowy, it just adds to this feeling that in this Wonderland.
Oh, yeah.
You never know what's going to happen next.
Never a dull moment, that's for sure.
Right. And remember, this is how the pitch ends.
Okay.
With them going through the door.
Ooh.
Dorothy, Alice, gone. So where does it go? What do you think?
Oh, man. I don't know. Back home. Further into like Wonderland 2.0 or is it something else completely?
Right.
Something brand new.
It's like they went down the rabbit hole, literally.
Yes.
And now they're at a crossroads.
Right.
Like, do they go back to what they know?
Right.
Even if it's not, all sunshine and roses, it's at least familiar.
It's home, yeah.
Or do they just say, you know what?
Take a chance.
Let's see what's behind door number 2.
I gotta say, after everything they've been through, I kind of hope they go for it,
Right.
Take a chance. See what's out there.
There's something to be said for that, isn't there? Just embracing the unknown.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what you might discover?
Exactly. And you know what? That is what I love about this whole pitch.
Yeah.
It's like they took something familiar.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Alice in Wonderland,
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz. We've all seen the cartoons, right?
Oh, yeah.
Read the books.
At least one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we know these stories, but they found a way to make them new again. And a little creepy.
Yeah, look, it's brilliant.
A little unsettling, but in a good way.
Yeah, like in a way that makes you want to keep watching.
Absolutely. It's like they took our childhoods, mixed in a little bit of like, what's going on in the world today?
Okay, sure.
And then we're like, hold my juice box.
Yeah.
I got this.
I love it. I mean, who wouldn't want to see this movie?
Right.
And to everyone listening, we want to know, what classic stories would you mash up? What would your Wonderland look like? Let us know, because imagination, well, that's a door we should all open together.